talking Elsbeth, season 3, episode 10, our Nutcracker. I'm one of your hosts, Jason Reed, with a woman that will be starring in The Pencracker, soon to come, Marissa Garza. Marissa, you good?
I am good, Jason. Are you good?
I'm good.
Good. I'm glad. That's good to hear.
Yeah. Happy tidings to all as we
Yes.
record this. We are 5 days out from the Christmas season. If you celebrate, we wish you a happy Merry Christmas. If you don't, we wish you a happy holidays, whatever you're celebrating.
Happy Festivus, happy
Yeah.
solstice, happy whatever us or non-us.
Hanukkah, all the things,
All the things.
all
Like
the
literally.
bits and pieces.
And if you have to make one up this year just to find some joy, I totally understand.
Yeah. So from us to you,
Yes.
happy holidays. We are here with Elsbeth. Literally the halfway point. We are literally on a winter break.
Yes.
From this moment forward until February, the end of February was when we will have another Elsbeth episode. So we're going to be on a bit of a hiatus for those that aren't familiar with the Big Brother streets. That is a hiatus until February. But never fear. You can still hear me, Marissa, chop it up about all things Kings, because we still have the Good Wife coverage going on the other side of this podcast. So, if you can't bear to not hear our voices over the break, you got something that you can go to.
And if you are looking for a show to binge, Good Wife is a good one. Good winter break binge right there. You can always hop in at any time. We kind of catch you up along the way. So join us.
I mean, if you need your kooky Elsbeth fix, we are
smack
dab in the middle of an Elsbeth arc right now. She's in the episodes we're covering right now. She's in them. So hey, you got that. If you just can't stand to be without Elsbeth, we got some Elsbeth for you.
Elsbeth origins.
Exactly. And Elsbeth is, I mean, in this property, she has a lot more range and freedom to be a lot kookier than she is on The Good Wife. You won't catch her in a ballerina outfit on the Good Wife, she is here. But that's there for you if you so choose. If you want to help this podcast out, you can do that in a number of ways. You can review, rate, and subscribe wherever it is you are watching and or listening. That helps us get into the eyes and ears of more people that it would enjoy this kind of content. If you just want to talk to us about the show, you can just email us at thegoodpodfeedback@gmail.com. If you just want to have a convo with us, you can also, if you so choose, it is the gift giving season. We do have a link over at buymeacoffee.com/goodpod. You can choose to donate whatever it is you feel is in your discretionary budget. We love that. We'd be greatly appreciative of that. That's all the ways you can give us a little gift this holiday season. You don't even need to spend any money to do it. You can just like the podcast, review, rate, all that good stuff you can do for totally free, and just help us out in that way. If you can't or don't want to give a monetary amount. So with that out of the way, Marissa, let's get into the episode.
Before we hop into it.
Yeah.
Love to know your connection and or non-connection to the Nutcracker. Is the Nutcracker? What role has the Nutcracker?
How has your life changed by having the Nutcracker in your life? None. I have absolutely zero connection to the Nutcracker. I know of the device of a Nutcracker. I don't even have any of those in my house, but I'm aware of them. Have been in their vicinity before. Oh, that's the length of my experience with the Nutcracker in all forms.
I equate the Nutcracker with Disney's Fantasia because they animated it, and so every time I listen to the Nutcracker or watch the Nutcracker, I'm always thinking, not seeing because I can't see him behind my eyes, but thinking of the little mushrooms or the snowflakes or the little montages that happen in that way. And I think that was really cool. The whole part of this entire case is it starts off talking about how traditional and boring the Nutcracker is, and it needs to be done in this new way. And I was just Fantasia it. You don't have to make it weird and scary. You can just Fantasia it.
I could not get into Fantasia when I was a child. I think I was just confused of what's happening. Maybe now I should go back and try to watch Fantasia. Is that on Disney Plus?
Try it. Yeah, probably.
I mean, I should try.
Fantasia 2000, also a little bit more contemporary, has Donald Duck in it as opposed to Mickey Mouse.
Okay, maybe I'll give it a shot. Because I think as a kid I just didn't understand like what was going on. I was like, what is this? And when you just said that it is a like parody or takeoff of the Nutcracker, had no idea. Had zero idea.
The whole thing is like Tchaikovsky, who wrote the Nutcracker, like this is what happens in people's minds when they hear music. And I, as a little kid who couldn't see behind my eyes, was like, oh my God, this is so magical. Is this going to happen to me when I'm older? Like, I don't know. Whoa, this is so cool. And so then I would like sit in concert thinking, oh, I'm doing it. This is what and I was never seeing it. Like, I thought that I was seeing it, but I was never seeing it. So the Fantasia for me is like, it's very impactful because of my neurology, but I get it if it's not everyone else's. But
yeah, you said every time you watch a Nutcracker. I'm like, every time? That means you watch it more than once? You chose to watch it more than once?
It was like definitely something like substitute teacher plan during the winter break type of thing that would go on at school. Or like one time my parents did take us to like the community college production of the Nutcracker. I liked ballet. I was into ballet as a kid too. Like I was one of those girls.
I'd probably just be bored to tears, I'm sure, as a child and as an adult. But hey, to each their own, as I always say.
Well, we are talking about the Nutcracker because in the case, this case has to do with the Nutcracker being talked about and how it's so traditional and it's time for a change. And we meet this guy named Donovan Chase. And he says, it's time for a change. We can turn this into something new. And this is definitely like this aesthetic of being like very sparse, very modern is something that is definitely going through Broadway at the moment. We were just talking pre-pod. Well, I was basically talking pre-pod.
And I was staring at you like, yep, exactly, totally.
How productions of Sunset Boulevard and Evita have kind of like stripped the scenery of a lot of things and just been really sparse. And I think that's what they were referring to here with Donovan's view of the Nutcracker.
I saw they were like, online they're like, they're really trying to take there's a takeoff of someone named, I think someone's named James Lloyd, I think was what they were saying.
Oh, like, yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, like, they're really coming after that guy. I feel like this is the equivalent to me being like, oh my God, this is a hit piece on Bill Belichick.
Yeah, pretty much. A
couple episodes ago, and now this is like a hit piece on this theater guy who
like
people
a
have
commentary. Yes.
You have like a controversial opinion of. I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of like appealing to a different audience than what I'm used to.
So in the Nutcracker, if you haven't seen the traditional one, it's very like there's a big Christmas tree and then there's a rat king that comes out and there's a bunch of mice and there's this girl Clara and she is like the star of the entire show and her whole thing is like she gets the Nutcracker for Christmas and then like the Nutcracker saves her from the rat king. It's like this whole thing. See, it sounds interesting.
It sounds
right?
Totally fun. Right? I gotta check it out.
You gotta check it out. Exactly.
A rat king? Oh my.
Yeah, exactly. So this is like something that a lot of people find a lot of comfort in during the holidays and everything. And one person in the audience during this Donovan Chase reveal is not too happy about this because he's very like all about the traditional production of ballet. And he looked very familiar to me, Jason.
Yeah. Andrew Rannells, who I think probably you'd say got his big start on the Book of Mormon on Broadway. I think that's probably where he really broke out, unless you have
and girls
else.
And
but that was after Book of Mormon, right?
Was it? I don't know if it might have been around ish the same time ish. I don't know. That's a blur to me. But yeah, like if you aren't a Broadway person, it was girls. If you are a Broadway person, it was Book of Mormon.
Yeah, and me looking up Andrew Rannells just to be like, okay, I know the big things, but like he was also in the sitcom The New Normal, which I was really into back in 20 whatever it was, which is a fun little sitcom about him and his I think was that him and his husband were wanted to hire a surrogate, and they all became like one big family or whatever. It was a really fun sitcom. But then I looked into him, and like in the '90s, he was in all the kid shows. I watched this kid Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. I was like, wow, he had this whole other like career before he broke out as an animation guy. I was like, oh my god, like, and I can definitely see that because he has this kind of the cadence to his voice and like the tone and timbre of his voice would be perfect for I think like a kids show.
Do you know of the other Andrew Reynolds connection to the Kingbirds by proxy?
No, what is it?
He was in Girls Five Eva with Geneva with Renee Elise Goldberry, who is Geneva. You know, you're welcome. Little trivia there. So basically, the whole thing with this new Nutcracker is there's going to be this Nutcracker contraption in the middle, and also there will be no children, which the Nutcracker is like literally the only time there's like 80 children on the stage. For a ballet, there's like a bunch of children, and so this is like what, and it's going to be violent, and there's going to be blood, and like the rest of the ballet board is kind of taking this in, and they're like, oh, this could work, this is kind of cool, but not Andrew Reynolds, whose character's name is Harris. Yeah, not Harris, because he is like, this isn't true, this isn't right, and everyone's like, it's because your daughter was going to be Clara. He's like, it's not because of my daughter, not because of that. Ends up that Harris is outvoted, and he has to go to a therapy session following this decision with his husband and his daughter to kind of explain what's going on. And his daughter Noelle is not happy about this at all.
Yeah, we see like it's definitely not because of my daughter. Smash cut to his daughter like literally crying at the therapist's office about her not being Clara. And we all, in this moment we get to meet Harris's husband, who is Rich, who's basically kind of like to Harris, like, you created this problem, you fix it. Like,
yeah,
that's your responsibility. Rich, who we see like is kind of like a little bit like cold-ish, so like, not great, not cool. So he's like, you made this problem, you fix it. And so Harris is gonna fix it. It's gonna fix it in his own way. As much as our murderers do, not through normal means, like say a petition, or say like just any other like normal way you would do things. He decides murder is my way to fix this problem. Like that's my first go-to, is murdering another person.
I mean, it is America. After all. Later, Donovan decides to test the contraption. This, again, just to paint the picture for the audience, this is like a Nutcracker head, just the head, and then like the Nutcracker mouth part, the jaws are up, and Donovan is not happy with what he's seeing here. He's like, I want more blood, but no nuts. We cannot put any nuts in here because I am allergic. More blood.
Yeah, so it's like he referenced several times about no nuts, no nuts, no nuts. I for sure thought,
this for real,
out. Like he was gonna, like Harris was gonna like sneak some nuts into a salad or something, and that's how it's gonna go. But it went a very, very different way.
Yes. And so Harris is like, this is going to be a catastrophe. He does spy Keith, who is the technical director on the show. For those of you unfamiliar, it's the person who basically make sure that all the lights and sound effects and all of that stuff goes. Very hardworking crew members look to this person, and he's entering his own password. And apparently, Keith and Harris had a little bit of a fling, and Harris thinks that Keith is still pining for him at this time.
I mean, he definitely is. He's like, he's like, hey, how's your mom? Keith has been like texting Harris, like trying to see if something can happen. But Harris is like, no, I'm good, thanks though. But yeah, he literally like looks over Keith's shoulder to see him entering his pin and seeing how the contraption actually works and how the jaws work. So he's at that point like, oh, okay, I can see where this is going. Like, he's like looking at how he can mess with the controls.
Yes. Yeah. And like, this is very stressful for Harris, so he's got to go get some work done on his back. And while he's apparently, I think it's just like getting an electric sort of treatment or something. There's like an electrode out of his back. But then he like opens the window, drops out of the window, goes into the rehearsal space, goes under the dress of one of, I don't even remember all the characters' names, but one of the big
I think they say this
characters.
something as the Ginger King or something like that
Maybe they changed the Rat
later in the
King to the
episode.
Ginger King. I don't know.
Maybe I don't
And
know.
sneaks over to the controls and messes with the settings. And Donovan is in the middle of the contraption when boom, he is killed
Oh,
violently.
this was, I mentioned last episode when we saw the model like falling to her death, that which was like kind of like, whoa, that was like crazy. This was even more. It was like, oh my god, this is like forget about a nut. Like this is like you ever had the gushers
It's a
when you were a
gut.
kid?
It's a gut cracker.
Gut cracker. It was like a gusher. You like bite into it and just spray goes everywhere. I was like, whoa, that was pushing it, I think, for network TV.
Well, they tried to cover it up because when Grace and Elsbeth arrive on the scene, they're like, "This is all stage blood."
Yeah. Oh, this is a real blood. Network censors. This is stage blood.
Yes, yeah. And Grace talks about how Donovan Chase had a production called The Orphan Girl, which for those of us in the theater know, Orphan Girl, Annie, production of Annie. And it's very like cutting edge, very avant-garde. Detective Donnelly, Detective Third Watch, is here.
She's here.
And Elsbeth asks her about like the operation of the contraption.
Yeah, Detective Edwards still missing in action. We're still
waiting.
Maybe she's just not part of it anymore, which is fine and okay. I don't care that much about Detective Edwards. It's just always weird when someone's missing. But yeah, Grace, who's away from her, who we thought would be her permanent partner, Buzz, is here now with Elsbeth and Don. It's like, all right, ladies' night, let's go. The ladies trio. I'm down for it. I'm here for it. So yeah, like Elsbeth does her Elsbeth thing. Comes in, is like looking at everything, like, how does this work? How does that work? What does this mean? What does that do?
And Keith like explains it all, and like Clarissa, and basically says that the sensors are facing the wrong way and the safety was turned off, but he's not sure how that happened because it wasn't him. Meanwhile, Harris comes home to tell Noelle, his daughter, hey, we got some good news.
Like, good news, someone's dead, and now you can do what you need to do. Like, okay,
I did this for you, honey. I did this for you.
Interesting way to put it. Good news, Daddy murdered a man for you.
I couldn't.
You could murder someone for your child, Marissa?
Correct. For my non-existent child
to be in a play? How dare you? I think I can speak for all parents out there that could easily and with no doubt murder someone for their child's play aspirations.
Goodness. Anyway, Donnelly and Elsbeth run the case down for Wagner. They say that Keith is their first suspect. His prints were the only ones found on the board, unsurprisingly, because it's his board. But and he was devastated about the whole situation. Wagner is disgusted with this version of the play. This is my favorite thing because, of course, Wagner's into theater. Of course he is. Of course he plays the trombone. Of course he is. I'm like, one of us. Elsbeth also points out that all the kids were unhappy and there were unhappy parents. So they might be something to look at.
And, Detective Third Watch is surprisingly on Bush. Is like, yeah, you're right. Like, we should really look into that. I was like, okay, all right, Detective Third Watch. Not going with the easiest at first, not going with the easiest solution of it must be Keith, right? So I was like, okay, going along with Elsbeth. I like it.
Well, she also, I think at this point, brings up Dance Moms. Have you ever watched Dance? Yeah. So she has a point of reference for this in terms of that.
Well, and Donnelly like kind of conflates, like, actually not even Dance Moms, hockey moms. They're crazy. Yeah. Donnelly's like, I'm not a girly girl. I'm a boily girl. I take my kids to hockey.
So, Donnelly and Elsbeth go to talk to Harris, and he agrees that he did not like the take, but he was outvoted, and he like didn't try to do anything about this. Like he at his heart is a dance dad. So this is noticed. He does ask, or they do ask him for an alibi. Harris says he went to his daughter's school, and then a physical therapy appointment, and Harris used to be a dancer as well. Let me just talk about this therapy appointment. I forgot to mention he not only jumped out of the window, but then somehow got back up through the window and
Uh,
was ready for his appointment at that time. So not only was the man a former dancer, he must have been a former acrobat at some point.
must also be Spider-Man, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know how high up this he was. Was he on the first story? Was he on the second story? Is there a gutter he can climb up and down? Who knows? Who really knows?
Yeah, and Elsbeth is, of course, doing her observer best of like noticing his posture, like also kind of saying like, "Oh, he used to be a dancer. I think he gets this. Like he gets why this would be a blow to his daughter, and so I think we're
Yeah,
gonna put him on the suspect list."
yeah. I think this is the moment, right, where Elsbeth officially puts Harris in her crosshairs. It's like, all right,
Yes.
well, we're gonna look into you and see what's happening here. Like she has her eyes set on him, and it's again just kind of her Elsbeth spidey sense, who she she never suspects more than one person ever. It's always just like you. Like I again. Just like all the other detectives, I feel like in the precinct, we're just waiting for Elsbeth to be wrong about something or someone.
Something. Yeah, would be good. So Elsbeth decides to chase down this lead and goes to the physical therapist's office. And while she's there, she runs into Rob the choreographer, apparently.
I'm just like, what is this for? It does not further a plot. It does not really do anything. Like last episode, we ran into what was her name? Ivy or Iris? Ivy, I think, who was just in one of the other storylines. Rob, if I remember correctly, was the choreographer in the Keegan Michael Key episode.
Yes, correct.
And beside the fact that it's like, hey, look at this world we've built. We were just running into people we've met before. Isn't that fun? I don't see what
I think
the purpose of it is.
this may seem very critical, but I'm just gonna say it. I think they're trying to remind us that this is somehow still the same show or connected to the show that it was.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, I don't think the quality has suffered that much where they have to like remind you of the show was. But I don't know. It doesn't do anything for me. It's just like okay, like unless you are getting Rob involved as you would have like a Nadine, right? Nadine
is great.
Gets involved and actually furthers the plot. Actually gives our characters something to go on. Rob's just kind of like,
well,
here.
Rob does give Elsbeth some information. He does say like, "Hey, Harris used to be a dancer, but he doesn't dance anymore because he married into money." And so Elsbeth is wondering, like, if Harris had money and he got in, he doesn't need dance anymore.
Yeah, and Rob mentions like this physical therapy's office is great because it works on a sliding scale. It's not, it's not as expensive as a normal physical therapist. So, and Elsbeth's like, so why would someone of Harris's financial standing be in this physical therapy office? Interesting. And if he's not dancing anymore, why is he injured? And he's come to the physical therapy office. So that does get her to think of like, interesting.
Yeah, like why here? Why not? Is it because it's conveniently located next to a window that he could drop down and then murder someone? Maybe.
Or in the path of a potential alibi he could get by appearing on a camera of some sort.
Maybe. Elsbeth and Donnelly go talk about Harris and Keith, like talk to Keith about
they go mess. Elsbeth does her thing to go and goes and messes with Harris, like tries to poke at the bear, and because Donnelly did not go with Elsbeth, and they meet back up to go harass Harris, and Donnelly tells Elsbeth all about Keith and Harris used to go out in the day, and and so there's a thing, and Keith also told Donnelly that Harris visited the workshop the day before the murder and was like rummaging around.
Yes. Yeah. And they end up going, hold on. So Elsbeth goes to talk to Harris's husband, Rich, and ask Rich about Harris's injury. And Rich at first is like, what injury? I don't remember what injury. Oh, wait. Yeah. Injury. Yeah, sure. That sounds good. And Rich isn't really into ballet stuff, and he doesn't really care about dance stuff, as if it wasn't obvious by the therapy the therapy meeting before. But Harris and Noelle come home or in the middle of this and say that Noelle got the part, and Elsbeth's there, and Harris is like, "What are you doing here?
Yeah,
Why are you
what?
here?"
Interesting little nugget I found out, and
Mm-hmm.
looking at all the fun bits about this thing and doing my research. No, the character that plays Noelle, Rich and Harris's daughter, is the dancer that was featured in the New York City Ballet Company's Nutcracker in 2023. So it's a very like specific, fun little character thing that was in here, which was it really fun thing that the Kings like to do. It's like as we're talking about ballet and theater,
Culture.
like they just have stockpiled this cast of like theater and ballet and Broadway people.
Yeah, and also like I did not know that, but when she was doing some ballet later in the show, it was like, I think she's actually a ballet.
I think
Ballerina.
I think I found someone some
Yeah, I
experience
was like,
here.
huh.
Yeah, you could be something one day, kid. She's like, excuse me, I was the Nutcracker in 2023. Okay, you don't need to tell me nothing. I got it.
So while they're there, they talk to Harris about how he got injured, and he says he got injured doing roller skating at Rockefeller Center, but no
Ice
one knows.
skating.
Oh yeah, sorry, ice skating. Rockefeller Center, but no one knows that he skated. But he has a receipt to prove that he was there. Ice skating alone was not odd to them, but I don't know why it was not. It's Rockefeller Center, so
Well, Donnelly's like, you went alone? That's kind of weird.
yeah, exactly.
And both Elsbeth and Harris are like, no, it's not. Because I mean, but you can definitely see Elsbeth going ice skating by herself. You could definitely see her doing that. It's like,
yes.
and she would make 5 new friends while she was doing it. But like, you can see her being someone that does that. And like Harris, who is lying right now,
Yes.
it's just like, yeah, it's not odd. See, yeah, people do it by themselves, right? Elsbeth, she's like, yeah, totally.
Yeah, I would go ice skate. I've gone roller skating by myself. Donnelly then mentions that Harris was at the workshop. He's like, yeah, but like I'm around, like whatever. They also mentioned that he was dating Keith and how Keith still has a thing for him. Harris vouches for Keith here and says, I don't think I would. He could have made this mistake. Like this wasn't him. He did not kill. Keith did not kill Donovan.
Which is at the time I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't try to throw Keith under the bus in this moment and like be like, oh yeah, it definitely was Keith. It definitely wasn't me. But it makes a lot of sense. I think it's actually a smart thing for the murderer to do because how he kind of manipulates his husband after this was really good. Like I thought, like of all of our murderers, people that most of our murderers would have done that would have been like, oh yeah, that Keith. He was always making boneheaded mistakes. But that's the mistake that all of our murderers make. They try too hard to blame someone else for it. But this was the total opposite. But then what he does with his husband later is like, oh, okay, like this is actually pretty good.
Well, yeah, because he basically like Rich is like, what was up with the ice skating? And he's like, well, sometimes I just like to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about how Keith was texting Harris and it was getting obsessive. And so he wanted to like basically take care of this. And so he basically gets Rich to think that Keith was after him to get Keith in trouble. And instead of saying basically like, yeah, no, I murdered a guy.
Well, yeah, because he's like, yeah, Keith was saying some really weird stuff in these text messages. Yeah, I don't, but you know what? I don't want to get Keith in trouble. So let's not even
call the cops.
Let's not even go to the cops with this. Let's not do it. But Harris does this knowing that Rich will go to the police with the text.
Yes, and so they bring the text message to Elsbeth. Elsbeth isn't buying this at all. And Donnelly and Elsbeth decide, okay, fine, let's test the speed of the walk from like the ice skating rink to the theater.
Well, and this really, I know I mentioned before of Donnelly being supportive of Elsbeth. Now Donnelly is like, hey, we got nice evidence now. Keith definitely did it. Like, so let's not
wrap it up.
Let's not do the Elsbeth thing. Okay, Elsbeth, I think Keith is good for this. So, and Elsbeth, of course, in her infinite wisdom, is like, no, this has to be like the alibi is shaky. So Wagner's like, all right, well, you think it's shaky? Go test it.
Go test it out.
Yeah. So this is a Grace and Elsbeth hang around. They're going to go quote unquote test if because the thing was there was no record of Harris coming into the physical therapy's office. There was
Right.
only a record of him leaving. So they're like, okay, well, he could have gone to the school, murdered
Donovan. Donald.
Donovan,
Yeah.
and rushed to his PT appointment. Just he was late, but he could have rushed there to get there. So
Yeah.
they're testing whether or not they could get from the workshop to the PT's office in the amount of time that it took.
Yes. And while they do this, they run into the Orphan Girl Walk. This is, again, a straight comparison to Sunset Boulevard, how they would bring a camera out. This is, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing, but like to bring the outside into the theater to let people kind of see theater. But in this case, it's a very angry Annie looking character walking down the street with singing a song. And Elsbeth points out that Harris could have been on camera from that day because they are literally carrying like a steady cam this entire time, and we could see through that footage if he was telling the truth.
Yeah, the timing coincidentally matches up perfectly where they would have seen Harris coming into the physical therapy's office if Harris was telling the truth about going into the physical therapy's office. So Elsbeth is like, boom, bang, we got him, because he's obviously not going to be on this tape because he wasn't at his therapy's office if he committed the murder at this time. So we got his ass. So Elsbeth is like, and this is good. Elsbeth is confident about something. It gets proven wrong.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because he's totally on the tape going into the apartment. And I think it's funny that everyone is like kind of having a moment of like, oh my gosh, she's wrong. She's like totally human. She's one of us.
Yeah, because Donnelly's like, oh my God, Elsbeth, you're actually wrong this time. Which, like, you just picture, Buzz, Smullen, Donnelly, and all the detectives just like in a conference room, like, we got her, guys, we got her, we finally got her to do something wrong. She's finally wrong about something. Yes. Little did they know.
Well, I wonder if it'll like get out that Elsbeth was wrong. Like, I wonder if this will like come back to them.
She was wrong about this one. She was wrong about this one. She was wrong about this one piece. But in the end, she's still right.
She is still correct. Yes. So Elsbeth is like, okay, if he was there, I got to change my tactic. Let's get into the school. Let's do a traditional Elsbeth heist of sorts. And she decides she's going to take dance class with the kids, which was fun and entertaining. She was definitely overdressed for the situation, but it was
I mean, at this point in the Elsbeth show, it feels like we're trying to get this moment every episode of like, look at how kooky and crazy Elsbeth is in dressing up in a different outfit. She's a mascot. She's playing tennis if it's a sports thing. She's doing this, that, and the other, depending on what the industry is we're tackling that week. So of course she's in a tutu. She's in this crazy get up and outfit of like, oh, look how crazy and kooky Elsbeth is.
Like her shoes are even like laced with red as opposed to pink. Like it's a whole thing. It's a whole look, as you would expect. While she's there, she runs into Donovan and Noelle, and Noelle is in her, or not Donovan, Harris, and Noelle is in her Clara costume. And it was like, oh, how did you get that so fast? Just like, oh, we bought it last year. And Elsbeth's like, oh, that's kind of weird. Why would you do that?
Yeah, why? So you didn't cancel it when you found out that the kids weren't going to be in the play this year? He's like, you know how hard it is to cancel something custom from Milan, which was like, I didn't think they needed this like little beat here. I was like, okay, so what? He didn't cancel the costume. He's rich. He doesn't care about the money. He could probably just dress her up in a like house version of the Nutcracker. Like, I bought this. You're gonna wear it, do the Nutcracker for me in our living room. Like, whatever.
I mean, I would believe it. Yeah, for sure.
I did like where Noelle was seeing how crazy Elsbeth is actually. She's like, Daddy, is that woman okay? He's like, no, she's not.
They decide to go back to watch the Orphan Girl Walk footage here, and they notice that there is this performer that keeps looking up at the sky. Like, what is going on? So they go and interview him, and I thought this is a great theater education moment for people who are not into the theater.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense though. But yeah, I was like, okay, cool.
So they talk to this man, this performer, and he is a dancer, and he tells them basically, like, I was pulled in, I was a swing, so I was recording myself because I wanted to see what I looked like with my cell phone from up there, and I just wanted to make sure that like it was filming right. But he educates the entire audience on the role of a swing. And a swing in Broadway is someone in the ensemble who can play pretty much any role. It's like an understudy is dedicated to one role, but a swing can be for any role. And they have to be ready to jump in at any moment for any role. So it's a very high demand, like a demanding, not a high demand, but a demanding job. And without swings, Broadway couldn't have the schedule that they have, which is 8 shows a week. And so big ups to the swings. I was like, way to mention them.
Yeah, I at first I thought he was going to be like, I was looking up, some guy was like,
me too,
jumping out the window. So that was pretty weird. I was like, but then I was like, well, that really makes sense because in this like video, it shows Harris walking into the physical therapy's office. It's not as if he just walked to the office, ran upstairs, and jumped out the window a minute later. So I was like, okay. But yeah, he says like, yeah, I was recording myself, and I've got probably about 45 minutes on this recording. It's like, okay, so time frame would fit to see if Harris snuck out. So that makes a lot of sense. So I was like, okay. And this was kind of like the eureka moment that Elsbeth needed.
Yeah.
This is the smoking gun that Elsbeth needed. So we jump right to like the reveal.
Yeah, Elsbeth asks Harris to meet him at the workshop. She surprises him by popping out of the big weird doll, like she always has to, like the Mother Ginger dress thing. She asks if, hey, did you come in and like hide in this giant dress this year? And she lays out like the whole crime is what happened. They have the footage from the swing. Harris is seen sneaking out of the physical therapist building and going back, and he also was like carrying some stage blood with him to the physical therapist's office because they found blood there too.
Yeah, I guess it got on his clothes or shoes maybe, and he left it on the windowsill. I was like, yeah. Okay. I was like, all right. It's a little like not the strongest evidence, but then they're like, but it's a proprietary blend that only this workshop uses, so that makes sense. I was like, okay, whatever.
Well, and I guess like you would want one of those so that it doesn't stain the clothes. You know what I mean? But I don't know
like
if
how much
needs to be proprietary.
But I'm like, how much blood was there? Because number one, he was hiding in the dress when the Nutcracker cracked on and open, and he was in the thing. Like, so did he track some on his shoes? But he walked like 4 blocks to the PT's office.
Yeah.
You tell me he had that much blood that he was still tracking some on the windowsill? That was weird. I was like, okay, it was a little bit of a stretch for me, but I was like, all right, I'll buy it, whatever.
At this point, Harris is like, okay, I did like, okay, but one more thing before I go, like, don't take me off right away.
Yeah, actually, Elsbeth interestingly says one more thing. When he's like, how's any of that prove what I did? She's like, one more thing. I was like, oh, the classic Columbo line. They sneak in here. I was like, okay, this is the spiritual successor to Columbo. So I thought it was a little cute, pretty cute. But yeah, and yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they let him watch his daughter dance in the Nutcracker before taking him off to jail.
Which is,
mainly so that we could see Clara dancing. Yeah, Nutcracker.
It's at one point great. The other point of like, what if she like looked over, like sees her father in handcuffs? Like, wait, what's happening?
She would have to have known. Like, she would have to have known, right? Like, she like, hey, P.S. by the way, Daddy's going to jail.
You think they would have told her that before the performance?
Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Probably not. I guess not.
Maybe the lights would be too bright anyway for her to actually.
Yeah,
see.
They were in the back. They were in the back.
So yeah, I guess. But it's like it was. He's like, I have one request. I'm like, you're getting arrested for murder. I don't think you are in any position to request anything. But yeah, I guess it's part of Elsbeth's nature to be sweet and nurturing to even violent criminals that murder people. Like, yeah, we'll go ahead and let you watch your daughter's performance. Sure,
it's for the arts, Jason. It's
for the arts. The arts are under attack, Marissa. Didn't you
know? I know. I am aware.
They brought it back. They brought back the line for this one. I heard the arts are under attack. So good. But yeah, I feel like in real life, people like, no, like you're
no. This is definitely a big privilege. Yeah. Also, in this episode, we had some movement on the Alec situation. The precinct is holding a toy drive, and Alec is kind of aligning with that precinct. Basically, every mayor candidate mayoral candidate is picking like a precinct, and Alex surprisingly has picked Elsbeth and Wagner's
I like a lot of people in this precinct. Looks over at Elsbeth.
Yeah, and Marissa's there, which is great. And she's just like, hey, I don't like this idea of him not getting credit for the toy drive. Like, it's not like, sorry, police, it's not your thing, it's his thing.
Well, and he's sharing the credit with all the other candidates. She
Yes.
just wants him to be this be his sole thing. So she's doing her Marissa thing of like being like annoyed about something.
Definitely taking after her father.
Mm-hmm.
Alec and Elsbeth have a talk about how much they love Christmas, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!" And Alec's like, "Maybe we could do something." She's like, "Well, I don't know." They also talk about Teddy, and because Elsbeth says, "You know, I get to spend every other Christmas with Teddy when he's around. Have you met my son?" It's like, "Oh yeah, I wrote that. She wrote that article. It was such a great success." So later, when they are putting donations together, Elsbeth is like, everything's here. I just need to wrap stuff. And she's like, she can't wrap it. Alex says, you can't wrap it because it's a security issue. That is where we are, America. That is where we are. Cannot wrap Christmas gifts for donation because they need to be vetted before they are wrapped. Mm-hmm. Teddy is also talking to Wagner during this whole thing. And you could kind of see there's like a conversation. He asks about the article and Subway Pete, bringing back all of this stuff that had kind of happened, I don't know, 5 episodes ago now at this point.
What took you so long, Teddy?
And he was saying that like Subway Pete has dementia. He's not sure he found the right guy, but Alec acted with confidence that he was the kid. So that's who Pete thought it was.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Alec acted like he recognized Subway Pete.
Right.
And now Teddy's like, I don't think that was Subway Pete. I think that was a different person because Subway Pete's got the Subway Pete I found has issues. So I don't think that's the right Subway Pete.
It was like a hired Subway Pete to come in and like do something there. Yeah. And Teddy's definitely worried about Elsbeth and is basically asking Wagner, like, is there something I should know? Something is off. So they collect a bunch of gifts. Wagner talks about how awful Orphan Girl is, which is definitely a criticism of a traditionalist. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't want to watch the camera footage, but he did find something on Alec. And so he calls Teddy. We don't really know what that thing is.
Yeah.
But
we find out a little later, but yeah, we get to see the phone call.
Yes.
Yeah, I found something on Bloom, Teddy. Gotta talk to you about it.
That's a good one. You did good. Precinct 11, which is the precinct of our friends here, has won the most toys, or has won the contest because Marissa bought the most toys. At the end, Grace is like, hey, Elsbeth, I bought you a Christmas gift. Here's 2 tickets to Orphan Girl. And she's like, oh, that's so sweet. But I can't accept them because of the consent decree. But I can buy one and you could go with me. I thought this was like a cute little friendship moment, but in the back of my mind, I was also like, you are no Kaya.
You will never be Kaya, Grace. You will never be Kaya. Get out of here.
Is it wrong? No. Should I be embracing the new world? I don't know. No. I still miss Kaya. Also, where's Kaya? Still don't know.
Where's Kaya? Where is she? Tell me she's okay, please.
So, and then she goes to talk to Alec, and Alec was like, hey, are you doing anything for New Year's Eve? And she's like, actually, I am now because I just got these tickets. And then he says in a little creepy way, too bad there's no mistletoe here.
Elsbeth politely declines. She's like, yeah, I tried to, but there's no HR department has an issue with mistletoe. She tried to get it in there, but whatever.
Yes. And then Alec's like, okay, well, let's try for January. And she's like, I have wide open. I have no plans.
I thought that was like a really funny meta moment of like, I'm wide open in January. The show is not coming back to February. I got nothing to do in January because there won't be a show. So I'm wide open. I was like, that's funny. That's fun.
Yeah. At this point, Alec walks Elsbeth over and says, like, hey, I got to talk to you about something.
Well, Wagner.
Wagner talks
Wagner
to
calls
Elsbeth about Alec and brings it over and says, hey, I don't think this guy's been fully honest about his past. his past. And Elspeth here is kind of like, okay, like what are you telling me? And in what capacity are you telling me this, Wagner? And Wagner is just like, well, he lied about being unhoused because we could track his housing records, and there was never, he talked to the landlord, there was never any pattern of like leaving or anything like that. And he's just basically telling Elsbeth to be careful. He's not doing anything else. I'm assuming Wagner's going to take on some of this investigation with Teddy, but he's also trying to warn Elsbeth.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting however this comes to light or comes out, whatever this is going to be. And I would have to wonder if this was the real world, right? And we've got a little view of this over on The Good Wife with Eli Gold and Opposition Research.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that it took Teddy, who is like not even a real reporter, he's just like a researcher at this moment, and they let him do a little puff piece article. This boy, this man is the one to crack the nut wide open, and no one else of all the other mayoral candidate campaign managers and researchers, no one else found this out, just Teddy and Wagner together.
Yeah, in the entire city of New York City. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not like it's a small town or anything like that. It's one of the largest cities in the world. But yeah, and Elsbeth is kind of like shocked and just like stands there for a minute.
I'm not sure what the reaction was. Was it kind of like a, yeah, it could have been like a, yeah, I know, but now you know. Now I know that you know that something's up. Because there was that moment like early in this season where Marissa pulls Elsbeth into her, like, you are the only one that can save New York City. It was just like, it never got followed up on. We are still wondering, like, what was that about? What other secret little plan is happening here? But then they, like, Marissa and Elsbeth look at each other, and I was just like, what's wrong? And I was like, nothing's wrong. It's like, so I'm very confused about what's happening, and I'm sure we'll get the answer at some point,
but
someday,
not in January,
in the new year, and in 2026 we'll figure out what's going on. Because I was waiting for this moment, and I thought we were going to get it when Marissa looks at Elsbeth and goes, "What's wrong?" I'd be like, "Will they be like, Wagner knows something's wrong with Alec?" Like,
yeah, or like a head nod, like this was like part of the plan for Wagner to find out, or like some sort of acknowledgement that they were on the
working
same
together
page about something.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, now I'm just more confused than ever. I'm like, what's happening? What's going on?
Yeah, and that's where we leave Elsbeth in 2025.
Yeah,
with a lot of, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see you guys after the Winter Olympics. That's kind of what we're on hiatus for, right? Like, we don't want to compete with the Olympics.
I totally forgot about those things, which is sad because I love them.
For sure. Marissa.
Yeah.
Marissa, with your 2 S's, like the Marissa here.
Thank you.
In the show.
And also the G, like in gold. Like,
oh, there you go.
Tell you, the same initials. They know.
Love you. The Kings love you. You want to tell the folks where they can find you online and what you're up to nowadays?
Yeah, sure. You can find me at itsmemarissag.com, where I have links to all the podcasts that I'm on, including the YouTube and podcasts for this one. So if you're listening to us, hop on over to YouTube, check us out there. We've got a pretty festive border going on for this particular episode. So if you're looking for something fun and festive to warm your YouTube screen, you can find us there. Also, I am on World One Podcast talking about Pretty Little Liars, one previously on at a time, and still exploring space with my sister as we watch Star Trek The Next Generation on the USS Sisterhood. Jason, that's what's up with me in podcast world, at least. What's going on with you?
You can find me on the Imperfect Match podcast. We are exclusively on Patreon right now. We're talking about an older season of Married at First Sight. We're talking season 10, one of the best seasons of the franchise. So check me out over there. That's where you can find me. That's where you can find Marissa. Until next time, stay good.